The shocking confession came from Park Jimin, one of the BTS members who is known for having a soft heart and soul full of emotions. The words he uttered recently made the entertainment world tremble, at the same time making millions of fans around the world speechless in curiosity and excitement. It's no secret that every speech from an idol of Jimin's class can become a hot topic in a matter of seconds. But this time it's different. There was something in his tone, there was a shiver in his eyes, and there was an honesty so sincere that anyone who heard it felt as if time stopped for a moment. The confession was not just an ordinary greeting, but an expression of the heart that he had kept tight for a long time, perhaps years, before finally exploding in front of the public. As Jimin spoke, the atmosphere changed. Silence enveloped the room. Even the sound of cameras and small whispers seemed restrained. He sat quietly, looking ahead, as if trying to gather courage. The first words that came out of his lips made everyone instantly hold their breath. "I have to say this now, because if I keep it, I won't be able to breathe a sigh of relief," he said slowly but meaningfully. Immediately, the fans who watched through the screen and directly in the place felt something that was difficult to explain. There is worry, there is curiosity, and there is also a fear of hearing something that might change the way they see the figure of Jimin so far. Jimin is known as a sensitive figure, who does not hesitate to show his emotional side on stage and behind the scenes. But this time, he wasn't singing or dancing. He was just an ordinary man who opened his heart. Many assume that this recognition has to do with the pressure he has been feeling. Global popularity does bring happiness, but it also presents a heavy burden that is rarely seen by the public. As a member of BTS, Jimin is always required to be perfect, always smiling, always strong, always giving positive energy. But who knows how many nights he spent alone in silence, thinking about things he never told. His words prove that even the brightest star is still a fragile human being. The reaction of the BTS members who were present beside him at that time was no less touching. Taeyong lowered his head, seemingly trying to contain his emotions, while Jungkook, who was sitting on the other side, looked at Jimin with teary eyes. RM, the leader, was seen trying to give support through a small hand grip on Jimin's shoulder, as if saying without words, "We are with you." All of it was captured clearly by the camera, creating a moment that is hard to forget, a moment that shows how close the relationship is between the members, not just as colleagues, but as brothers who support each other in joy and sorrow. After a short pause, Jimin continued his sentence. He talks about the feelings of guilt that often haunt him, about the moments when he feels that he is not good enough even though everyone around him says otherwise. He admitted that there are days when he feels tired, not only physically, but also emotionally. "Sometimes I ask myself, do I deserve all this love? Have I given my best?" he said in a trembling voice. The statement brought many fans to tears, because who would have thought that someone like Jimin, who always looks perfect in the eyes of the world, still harbors deep doubts in himself? But behind that vulnerability, Jimin also showed extraordinary courage. It expresses not only a feeling of sadness, but also a deep sense of gratitude. He conveyed how valuable ARMY is in his life, how the love of the fans has become the reason he is able to rise every time he falls. "You may not know it, but there were many nights when I felt like I couldn't go on, and it was your love that saved me," she said, leaving the audience in tears. The sentence serves as a reminder that the relationship between BTS and ARMY is not a one-way relationship, but rather a healing emotional bond. It didn't take long. Social media was filled with hashtags related to Jimin's confession. Armies from different countries flooded the platform with words of support, expressed unconditional love, and assured Jimin that he more than deserved all that love. Many wrote touching messages, sharing personal stories about how Jimin and BTS have helped them through difficult times. In a matter of hours, Jimin's confession turned into a global movement, a wave of love that proved how much influence the sincere words of an idol have on the lives of millions of people. This moment also opened up a broader discussion about mental health among celebrities. Jimin's confession was considered a bold step that could inspire many to dare to talk about their own feelings. Experts even say that what Jimin does is very important, because he shows that there is nothing wrong with admitting weakness, that vulnerability can actually become strength. BTS has always been known as a group that offers not only music, but also a heartfelt message of life, and this time Jimin proved it in his own way. In the midst of all the hoopla, the one thing that was most obvious was Jimin's authenticity. He does not try to look perfect, he does not mask his pain with a fake smile. It is precisely by opening up he shows the most honest side of himself. And that's what makes this confession so jarring, because it comes from a sincere heart. The fans saw not only a superstar on stage, but also a human named Park Jimin, with all his strength and vulnerability. And precisely because of this, his love for the army feels even more real. The days after the confession were filled with warmth. Love letters poured in from all over the world, videos of support flooded online platforms, and even murals with Jimin's face appeared in various cities as a form of love. All this is evidence that the recognition that initially seemed heavy to her turned out to be the most beautiful gift. He may have felt scared when he said it, but the world's response proves that his courage to open his heart has deepened the bond between him and the fans. No longer just artists and spectators, but a large family that takes care of each other. Now, Jimin's confession will be remembered as one of the most emotional moments in BTS's journey. A reminder that behind the sparkling lights of the stage, there are human beings who struggle, who feel pain, who sometimes feel not enough, but still stand because of such great love. And for ARMY, the confession not only made a splash, but also became a new reason to love Jimin more deeply, not because of his perfection, but because of his honesty. Because in the end, the confession was not a sign of weakness, but a proof of Park Jimin's courage to tell the truth to himself and to the world. After Jimin's emotional confession spread, the whole world seemed to move on the same frequency, talking, pondering, and absorbing what he had just said. The international media highlighted the moment as one of the most frank events of a global artist in recent years. Long articles appeared in major American, European, and Asian newspapers, emphasizing that Jimin's courage to speak openly about his doubts showed a human side that had been rarely touched. Some media outlets even called the moment a new history in pop culture. Because it is rare for a star with such a huge popularity as BTS to open up her vulnerability in front of the world without the slightest filter. The ARMY's response was massive. From Korea to Brazil, from the United States to Indonesia, everyone voiced support endlessly. The hashtags #WeLoveYouJimin and #YouAreEnough topped the global Twitter trends for days. On Weverse, hundreds of thousands of comments came in just over an hour after the confession was broadcast, containing soothing lines. "You're enough, Jimin. Do not doubt yourself anymore. We love you for who you are. You are the reason we can smile every day." Even many fans have written their personal stories of how Jimin and BTS music has been a lifesaver in the darkest of times. The recognition that initially sounded sad actually turned into a new source of strength, both for Jimin and the ARMY. On the other hand, the BTS members also gave their respective responses after that moment. Jungkook, through a short live, conveyed how proud he was of Jimin for being honest. "Hyung has done an amazing thing. It's not easy to say something like that in front of so many people. I just want him to know that we are always by his side." Taeyong wrote a short message on Weverse. "Never feel like you're not enough. You are a brother who makes me laugh every day." RM, as always, gave a long reflection on the meaning of honesty in the journey of an artist. All of which makes fans even more convinced that BTS is not just a music group, but a family that supports each other unconditionally. This recognition also led to an in-depth discussion about the future of BTS. Many observers considered that Jimin's move to open up could be an important turning point for the group. In the midst of the harsh pressures of the entertainment industry, this kind of honesty suggests that BTS will probably express their personal side more openly. This can affect the way they write music, present themselves on stage, and interact with the public. Some even predict BTS's next album will be loaded with introspective themes, as Jimin's emotional experience could inspire the rest of the members to dig deeper into their respective feelings. Furthermore, the impact is felt to be outside the entertainment world. Some mental health activists have cited Jimin as a shining example of how public figures can help break the stigma of emotional vulnerability. Many charitable organizations began to associate this moment with mental health awareness campaigns, using a video cut of Jimin's confession as a message that even those who look the strongest need support. There are not a few young people who claim to be moved to be more courageous in talking about their problems after seeing Jimin's courage. In a way that was never planned, Jimin has become a symbol of new hope for the young generation who are struggling against the pressures of life. The ARMY moved further. They not only write down sweet words, but also initiate real projects. Some are raising funds for mental health organizations, Others are creating online discussion spaces specifically for sharing stories with each other. Even in some big cities,